changed hands. There's never been a transfer of real property, so that means it still belongs to the church. And if the church, because it is a nonprofit, if any land transfer would have taken place, it would have to be approved by the Superior Court of the state of New York, and that has never transpired. So there's without a question that the property is ours. And your former attorney for the village met with me in John's office, McElroy, is it? McCary, Mary's office, and said right off the bat, this is not village property, we know that. And so that's all that I want to do is we want to tidy this up.
You want to formalize it.
That's correct, because I don't want there to be question about this. And apparently there's been question about it several times through history. We can document attorneys as far back as the 1930s verifying that this was church property. So if it's under a signed agreement, then there's no question. And what we would want from the village is we would not give an evergreen clause to the lease. It would be a 20-year renewable though, and $1 a year, okay, to continue to do just exactly what we don't want anything to do with it. You just do as you have all along, and that you would sign a quitclaim to that property that is incorrectly listed now as Village Park.
When you spoke to the mayor and he indicated there was questions, did he say what any of the questions were?
No.
Okay.
So hopefully we've answered them.
It seems cut and dry to me, but of course, I'd like to see different...
I understand.
And all that.
I understand it.
Well, obviously, David has done a lot of research on it over the years, but...
I'll be glad to provide you with more paperwork.
You know, the irony of it is that, you know, I went off the board in 2005 at the point that I was the chairman of the church's, somewhere in that period, I was the chairman of the church's finance committee.
Right.
And we were at kind of the stage you just talked about in 2005,
right,
where there was discussion about the lease for $1.
Right, right.
And then, of course, I went off the board, and we're here 5 years later,
right.
and it seems like it's the same discussion that we had back then.
Right.
So I guess we have to talk to David to find out.
Okay.
Because he did it, you know, he had a title search done.
Yes.
And he's been continuously the village attorney now for quite some time.
Right.
I only have one other minor question. 20-year renewable?
Yes.
Not renewable at their option. Not renewable at your option.
Not renewable at our option.
Subject to renewal, but not a guaranteed right of renewal.
None of us knows what's going to happen in 20 years, let alone.
Well, and all this was discussed because obviously the kind of assumption at that point from the village attorney that the classic legal right. They both don't fix it, but the situation is such that the church owns the property, but the village grants permission, and I know it's been kind of discussed at times how ironic it is, but the church actually owns the property, and the church comes to the village to ask for permission to use the property and to put signs up there, when it's the church's position that they actually own it.
All of it.
But the village has always given permission to the people who use that part of it.
That's correct. That's correct. One time I had suggested that if the village wanted to turn that around, I mean, what would you know? The village has to pretty much let anybody come in if they want to. But what if the American Nazi Party wanted to have a rally? The village couldn't say no, but the church could say yes. But that gets into free speech, and we're for free speech, so we wouldn't do it.
So, as you see it, would the permits now for the use be coming from the church?
No. We want it to continue just as it has been done.
Run by the village.
All this does, it says, yes, recognizes this is church property, and so is all the rest of this.
But you would have, I mean, for the next 20 years, you would have all the rights to use it, and you would have no rights to use it.
Correct.
And potentially 20 years after that, if the
Yes.
church decided to renew it, the village agreed.
Right, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. I mean, we've done it for over 150 years.
Yeah, that would be the only place where the wording, I think, is concerned. I would hate, you know, for there to be anything that would take the village green away from the use for everybody.
That's not going to happen.
As long as you want on from it.
Well, I'll tell you what.
In writing.
I'll tell you what. This church built the first school that this village ever had. Okay, this church built the first courthouse this village ever had. Okay, they gave the land and permitted that, we built the first firehouse that this village ever had on church property. We've got pretty good running history of, and we're not apt to change that now.
Sure.
It all seems very fair to me. I would just have to hear from David and...
Okay.
By all means, I mean,
Sure.
I don't need to resolve it tonight.
No, not at all. We just want to resolve it. Yeah.
Understood.
Okay.
Report it back to the mayor, and when David and you are available,
Very good.
I'm sure that we'll be talking to you.
Okay.
Anything more you want to say?
Well, this is a letter from the Goshen Fire District from some guy asking permission to use the church property. It's some John Higgins. I found that interesting. Let me, for your light reading. Okay. This is some of the history that shows continued.
David, you have another one?
We can share.
You have another one? Oh,
Yes, I do. Here's the 21 agreement.
Very good. No, this is great. Thank you.
And David is buttonholed me a few times on my way out of church. And obviously the church's hope here is that we're going to be able to work this out with us
Sure.
in a friendly way.
That's how we all believe.
I mean, you know, especially Ed and I, not against lawyers, making money, but...
And then here is the original land grant from the charter from the king that was drawn out, and all of that property straight through was church property. And again, there's never been meets or bounds done on the property, so
No, but there's
there
never
was no
been,
transfer.
if there was no meets and bounds, there was never any exchange of the property. It's just property and space. And when we had the application for the green space, we had Mr. Dillon prepare a survey.
Oh, great. That's lovely.
So this is a survey of the property, and we
Right.
worked with him to establish the meets and bounds. So based on his research also,
And what we had set out to do here is to include a passage here to, in case the village would ever, and we hope you would at some time, want to put a sidewalk up Church Street
Right.
and up Park Place, that you would have the property to do that. We would grant you permission to do that.
Think 99. Think
Yeah.
99. Just,
Yeah.
you know, focus it in your brain.
I'd say the term is negotiable.
Yeah, sure.
Why I said think
Okay.
99.
All right.
Is this for us to keep for the file, or
Well,
no?
You have the other one?
Yeah, well, thank you. I get it.
yeah,
That's
that's
right.
to keep
Call
that.
Jim Dillon.
All right.
It was, we paid for this, this is a service.
No problem.
Contract.
We gave it to the Chamber of Commerce so that it would help in
Yeah,
setting up
there you go.
Great American
Yeah.
Weekend.
I'll give it to you guys tomorrow.
Well, obviously, this is a situation like the pastor said, it's existed for a long, long time. Part of the agreement, although it's been at the village maintained,
Right,
that we
That's correct.
maintain benches, we maintain that
yeah,
piece of property.
yeah. Somebody once had brought up adverse possession, but that's not, that can't be the case because that was part of the agreement for maintenance.
Right, and all the permissions established, that the church gave permissions all the way through. I mean, this was just a small, I guess, paper, from the many papers he has at his office, if you will know now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the information.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Nice to see you.
See you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you too.
See you, Mike.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Minutes?
Okay,
Now, my turn?
you're on.
Most of you know me, I'm the dog warden of Goshen. There's a couple issues, well, the mayor asked me to come anyway to talk about the fact that there is no contract between the Humane Society and the town/village. And actually, in reading the contract, that the last time there was a contract was 2008, it doesn't mention the village at all. there is no mention of the village for this contract. So that's a mess. But the whole thing has been a big embarrassment since 6 months after the doors opened to that place. You all know that. The Chronicle had it in there for years. Now the Chronicle, it seems, refuses to put anything because there's been a whole bunch of stuff happening.